Hello, everybody. My name is Bricky. I hope you're having a great day today. Go ahead and pause the video, get yourself a drink or some food. We're not going to be here for as long as we used to be in some of the old episodes, but we're still going to be here for a decent period of time. So get yourself comfortable. We're going to talk a little bit. Welcome to episode 2 of the revised Fireside Bricky series. In the background, you are going to get a little bit of Destiny 2, some menial tasks, mainly just me doing bounties on Europa and a couple lost sectors and public events. There's some humorous moments in this whole episode as well. And also I get to show off some of my really good roll weapons I just got. I recently finished my first ever run of the Last Wish raid. I never actually did any Destiny 2 raids of any kind. I did some in Destiny 1, but never ended up doing it in 2. And I finally did a full Last Wish raid with a group of 5 people. And we even did Riven of 1,000 Voices completely legit. We did eyes, we did the ball and the symbols, we did the part where you drop down and shoot the weird tumors. We did the whole thing legit. Now, granted, I think we only had to do 2 cycles, not 3, just because we're high light level. But even so, it was pretty darn hard. It was hard as hell, but it was immensely satisfying. It might be one of the best boss fights I have played, like, in a video game, which might sound like pretty insane praise, but I don't know. There's something about us 6 fighting the Riven fight, even though it's really hard, is just immensely satisfying and super cool. So that was pretty great. You can see some of that in the background. Well, not that. If you're curious if that's going to be uploaded, it will. I'm going to be putting that on the channel coming up soon. Anywho, I hope that you've had a pretty good day this last week. Fireside Bricky is going to take the spot of the Bloodborne playthrough for today. That'll continue tomorrow. I also got to say, I really appreciated the kind words that were told to me in the last Fireside Bricky. Scrolling down that comments section, normally, I don't read comments, but that time was a little bit different. And I was also looking for some questions for this episode, which, well, I didn't really get a whole lot of those, but that's okay. Regardless of that reasoning, it was still very fun to read some of your kind words. I try not to read too many just because, I don't know, I feel like if you just flood yourself with nice comments like that, you might end up developing an ego, or it might be even more difficult to handle criticism. So I really liked it, but I'm trying to taper myself. Though I must say things are looking a little bit up now. Some things I'm still struggling on, some mental stuff. I am still seeing my therapist once a week on good old Wednesdays, actually right after boxing. So it's a nice little double up. But that's been good. Talking with them has been pretty good. I think we're getting into some of the more deeper stuff of my life, which is a little bit interesting. I think either she's just not good at hiding it or she doesn't care to hide it, but I think she's trying to kind of dig deeper into my personal life to see if I act certain ways because of certain events, things like that. That could just be me guessing, but it kind of feels that way. It's interesting talking about some more of those deeper down things. Not too much to talk about. I've lived a mostly pretty good life, but I guess in a sense you could argue that by living such a decent life, I'm therefore more sensitive to, I don't know, tough things because I'm not as used to it. If someone keeps getting beaten down, they get affected by inconveniences a lot less. Now, certainly I'm not going to drop my keys at the front door and say that my life is over, but you get the point. It's been going good. The house situation is certainly something that's been throwing me off lately. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but a refresher in case you didn't notice. I basically I'm being, they're not renewing the lease. They're selling the house that I currently live in. So I have to be out by November 30th, which is quite a while. I was looking to move out for the past few months. However, I've been kind of at a standstill with that. And because of that, I've been mainly just well, no, not really a standstill, but I've been saving up money to try to do so. However, the housing market here is quite tough. And so for a bit, I was actually going to ask them to go maybe month to month for a few months after my lease was up, so then I could go house hunting during that time and possibly take a few more months to save up the amount of money I need for a down payment on a home. However, unfortunately, it seems that won't be the case. So I may need to go and rent like a townhouse or an apartment or something in the meantime. And which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's more the concept that I'm going to have to move maybe twice in the span of 5 months, which, if you know anything about moving, sometimes you're not even fully moved in 3 months. And so that whole thing might be a bit of a pain in the butt. But it is what it is, and I got it. And that time it actually is what it is type deal. So it has come down to me just working much harder in order to be able to get this done and completed, and hopefully raise up enough money to be able to move out in a decent time. I must say that has been helped out quite a bit lately. We have a certain viewer in my stream. His name is Azure. He is a wonderful Puerto Rican man who does very, very well with the stock market. And well, let's just say, if you don't visit my Twitch streams very often, that's totally fine. You don't have to. But if you want to check it out over on twitch.tv/Bricky, you can see the most gifted subs in a month. And since September is Subtember, therefore all gifted subs are 20% off just for this month. He has taken advantage of that, and it has been quite a lot, and that has helped me a significant deal with attempting to get my my down payment. So I doubt he's watching this, but he's really taken a load off my hands, and I really am really appreciative for it. I thought he was an oil baron, but hey, here we are. But yes, I mean, that's one thing, if that's a cool thing that I guess it's good timing. Twitch, September, 20% off gifted subs. It's pretty good when you think about it. You can really save a lot with that. I think it's like $1 per. So yeah, it's good. That's actually put a little bit of weight off my shoulders. Unfortunately, it's not completely solved the problem because, well, that's not how it goes. But it has been helping quite a bit. And so the financial part is always a big thing. It's also finding out where, because I want to find a place that has the proper internet that I want. And getting the proper internet is its own kind of challenge, because you can't just move into any willy-nilly place. Some places have horrid internet, like Comcast crap, where you can barely operate when I'm trying to stream. So often newer neighborhoods or newer houses are better, but with that comes price. So it's been quite a lot, especially considering where I live, which is Southern California, which is already expensive, but then the housing market has been getting crazy. So it looks like I might need to move out if I can't make up the costs that I'm looking for, I may need to move into a different house or like an apartment or something and then move again, which will be a pain in the butt, but it's something that I will attempt to do and hopefully will end up working out well. So that's a little bit of an update of what's going on, kind of a long update, not a little at all actually, but that's the main thing in my mind right now. I have been streaming quite a lot lately, sometimes Destiny, sometimes other games. I've been playing this psychological horror game from the 2010, made by the Polish, of course, because everything that I play is made by Poland. It's called The Cat Lady. I never really heard of The Cat Lady, except until someone told me to play it. And then I started playing it, and I mean, suffice to say, it's very janky. The visuals are not particularly great. Well, the graphics, that is. I will admit, similar to what I said in my main channel video a bit ago, graphics are temporary, art direction is forever. And it does have some pretty good art direction. But the voice acting is also particularly kind of bad. But it does not pull its punches. It is a rough game about depression, and almost every game now, like any indie game now, is about depression. They're all about depression, but I feel like this was one that kind of was before every indie game was about depression, so I kind of give it a pass. It's like when you watch Star Wars: A New Hope, and You know, you got to give a pass to some of the silly cheese that at the time wasn't cheese or tropes or something. But it's really something. There are some crazy things in that game, and there have been some like extremely realistic panic attacks and breakdowns, like character breaking down. It's like unnervingly realistic because it's not some overblown Oscar performance. It's like a breakdown where you're just like uncontrollably crying and you can barely walk, but like your crying isn't loud and wailing. It's like muffled and hyperventilating. It's something, man. So I've only, if you know the game, I've only went to the first Parasite, so I've got like 4 more to do. But wow, it is something else. So I've been streaming that. I've been doing a lot of streaming lately, both for the financials, and it's actually been quite fun lately. And I've been kind of managing my time a little bit better. I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last episode, but when it comes to time, it's making like blocks for time has been so helpful. Setting a timer on my phone, 1 hour script writing, 1 hour video editing, 30 minutes cleaning the house. You know, doing that stuff, being more efficient with it, so much better. Especially when you combine that with eating better and sleeping better. Ooh, I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, but I actually went out to a place over here called Tokyo Central. It's a Japanese store, you know, food and products from Japan. But it's because due to recent breakup circumstances, well, she took the damn rice cooker. So I went to go buy myself a goddamn rice cooker because my whole life as a white American man never had a rice cooker growing up. Oh, and if I did, it was for special meals, you know? Now that thing practically has rice in it at all times because once I got a taste of a rice cooker, this thing is like, it's changed my world pretty much. I always have rice in that damn thing because it's so easy to make quick meals and quick hearty meals, you know? Like I buy myself 2 to 3 strips of salmon and then maybe like some bulgogi or something. And then for breakfast, I'll get the rice, cook up the salmon, and, you know, cook up some, maybe like a little bit of green beans. Well, it's breakfast. No, I don't use green beans. It's for lunch. I cook up the salmon and then I crack a raw egg into the hot rice to kind of cook the egg a little bit in there, and then throw on some sesame seeds and a little bit of rice seasoning. And then some, I think it's technically the term is oshoyu, which is soy sauce, or is it shoyu or oshoyu? I knew some small Japanese from the prior relationship. I know whenever as for chopsticks, it's always ohashi. So you know, chopsticks is ohashi. I remember fucking expensive is tokai. And I remember that because your grandmother would go into like a store and she'd look at something and she's like, oh, Takai. And then she'd like put it away and walk away. It was always a funny story. It made me giggle. But anyway, it's a side note. I got a rice cooker. And so, yeah, breakfast is like rice, raw egg, slab of salmon, some rice seasoning, sesame seeds, and a little bit of a shoyu, a little soy sauce. And it's just, it's delectable. Got some protein in there, actually quite a bit of protein, got some good carbs. It's not, I mean, it's decently high in calories, but I'm not putting a ton of rice. I'm putting like maybe half to 3/4 cup, maybe like 3/4 cups of rice in there I'm eating. And then it's just, but the only thing that's really overly salty is the soy sauce, but I use low sodium soy sauce, and it's to die for. And then for lunch, I cook up some bulgogi and then some green beans. Let's do the same thing, a little bit of rice seasoning with the rice, and that's my lunch. And it's weird. It's almost like it's a combination of, it's like being lazily healthy. It's so bizarre. It's hard to describe, but basically it's like the rice is just a filler that's always ready, because making rice is so freaking easy. You put the rice in the damn bowl, you wash it, you get it to the water is nearly clear, and then you fill it up, throw it in there, push on, and it's done in like 45 minutes. It's so easy. And it says it makes up the carbs in like kind of like a middle ground thing. You don't need a lot of it. Just a scoop of damn rice, and then you only need to cook like one thing, you know, like a thing of meat. You're done. It's Dude, everyone should have a rice cooker. I feel so dumb for not having one. I'm so hype about it. And then I got a bunch of other stuff. I got that hot water thing, where you press the little button on the top and then it pours out some water. If I'm ever feeling like I don't want to eat too many calories in the morning, I'll actually kind of lower the amount of rice, or I'll only cook like I'll fry an egg and have that with the rice, and instead of like putting the raw one in there without the salmon. And then I'll go ahead and use the hot water maker and I'll make myself some miso soup, because I have a bunch of miso soup packets as well. And then I just have a really nice breakfast. It's just put some of the rice in the miso. Get it all soaked up. It's man, this shit is so good. It's so tasty. There was actually I want to try making recipes from other countries quite often. Like I still want to make a Ukrainian borscht, if that's how it's pronounced. I know it's like, I think it originated in Ukraine, but it's like Slavic. The beet soup. There was a Polish thing I really wanted to make too. They're kind of like little dumplings. I don't remember the exact name of it, but there's lots of stuff. I really want to remake the arroz con pollo. I also wanted to make a pozole, which arroz con pollo is one of my favorite Spanish dishes. It's also a dish I really like to make for other people because, California, everyone thinks that Spanish food is just fucking burritos and tacos, and there's so much more. I had a original pozole a while ago. I'm not quite sure exactly how you would describe pozole, but that was heavenly. That was so good, and I want to learn how to make those as well. There was another kind of soup, and it was kind of like a sour soup. It had like beef tongue or cow tongue. I don't remember the name of that one, but it's just really interesting meals and stuff. And I really want to learn to make new things of that nature. I mean, there's some stuff that I don't think I could ever pull off. Like, I love sushi, but I can't make sushi. It's just not possible. Well, I mean, it is, but I'm not going to try. I'm not going to botch that stuff of all things. But it is particularly very, very good to be able to try out new recipes and stuff. Expand my culinary horizon. I would use that if I was trying to be a prick on Instagram. I'm gonna go out in the Peace Corps and go to Africa and post a picture with me with a small African child and be like, I wasn't the one who saved them. They saved me. And then I'm gonna go eat McDonald's and cry into my so my mascara runs off. Bunch of pricks. Sorry, I saw that on Instagram a bit ago. One of the classic Beverly Hills girl going to Africa thing, and it was like they were unaware of their stereotype. It was so funny to me. But yeah, so that I think that's actually making me feel better with my food changes, because I have to spend a little bit less time cooking, and the rice it feels very hearty, and I feel really good eating it instead. Because I don't. Okay, this might sound crazy to you. I don't like pancakes. I think pancakes are too much, and after I eat like 4 bites of it, I'm done with them. They're just too, even though they're fluffy, it's just too much. I don't like the whole American dessert for breakfast thing. I find it dumb. You go to IHOP and they have like whipped cream chocolate pancakes and something, and I had 2 bites of those things and I want to throw up. Granted, when I was a kid, yeah, I would consume those things by the gallons, but having this new kind of meal, I feel so invigorated. I feel so like ready for the day now. I'm really a fan of it. I feel the same way when I have huevos rancheros too, but that's a little heavier. I know a lot of Spanish Mexican food is really heavy. It's difficult to eat a lot of it. Especially when you get things like refried beans and melted cheese and shit. That just makes you want to have a nap. Though, if I'm not mistaken, don't they? I remember taking my Spanish class a while ago. I thought there was something that they do either in Mexico or Spain. I forget where, or maybe it's a Portuguese thing. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place right now. I think it's Spanish, because we were talking about lots of different things, but I think it was Spain. Where you work and then there's lunchtime and then there's like an hour to hour and a half long break where you can like sleep. There's like an hour nap you can just kind of take or something after lunch and between work, and then you go back to work. Something along those lines. And if that's the case, then, well, that makes sense because damn, that food makes you sleepy, but it's so good. But it's just, I feel so much better. It is insane how much of a difference, your kind of diet can do. And actually, I'm kind of curious. 1 cup of white rice in calories, 206 calories for 1 cup of white rice cooked. That's a lot of rice too. 1 cup is a solid amount of rice. 206 calories. An egg is about 80. You got a fillet of salmon in there. It's good, about like 500 calories, give or take. Maybe give or take. And that's like the breakfast for the day. And then considering the sheer amount of carbohydrates that the rice has, and if obviously you want to burn that stuff off, and it is a little bit less heavy in protein, but I'm not trying to bulk up right now. I'm trying to just kind of be a little bit more lean and get through my day. It's also not to mention American portion sizes. Sometimes you'll see the extremes. For those of you of my fans who may be European or from Latin America, etc., you may see the American food that we serve, but you often see the extremes because that's the stuff you see on the internet. The Heart Attack Cafe starring Faker and Tyler One. Places like that where it's just this gluttonous over amount of food. The thing is, though, is that very often it's not, American food isn't about it just being covered in fat, grease, and sugar. Some places are about that, but often it's more like fair food and stuff. The issue, I think, with America is the fact that it's just the portions are so big. You can have a perfectly healthy meal, or at least like a genuinely decent meal, but it's the fact that, you can get like chicken and vegetables at a good restaurant, but it's just a really big slab of chicken. It's the fact that the portion sizing, it just ends up becoming so big. And so at that point, and that's what I was talking about the last episode, talking about calories and calorie counting. It's, when you start counting your calories, you can both eat less and more. You eat less because you need to literally eat less. You want to lower your caloric intake. But you also can eat more because often by lowering your caloric intake, you're cutting out foods that are incredibly unhealthy for you. Things like, your fast food, that McChicken, 400 calorie McChicken. You used to down 4 of those bastards, 1,600 calories in a meal. Not even like the day, the meal. And so then you cut down on that, but then you can have slab of chicken, veggies, all that stuff. It's 700 calories, but it feels so much more filling. So you eat less and more. Or you can eat about the same in a sense, while still eating less. It's actually one of those interesting... Oh no, I was going to say something and now I lost my train of thought. Was it McDonald's? Was it about McDonald's? Oh no, I had a thing I was going to say and oh yes, now I remember. Drinking calories. I cut soda out of my life maybe 4 years ago. I still drink it on occasion, but I drink it as like a dessert. Often people drink soda just cuz or with a meal. And that is just very bad because often, soda's very obviously not good for you, but like calories in a can of Coke, 140. Get 140 calories in a can of Coke, and it's not even like calories. And some people will drink a lot of soda in a day. They go really hard on that. And I think my instructor always said, never drink your calories. Unless you're doing like a protein shake or something, but never drink your calories. Never drink Gatorade and soda because that ends up adding to your daily limit and it makes it a little bit hard to go through. It's actually one of the reasons I'm really proud to constantly be sponsored by GamerSupps, because besides the name, which is definitely a little bit like a yellow flag when you hear I'm sponsored by GamerSupps, you think, oh my god, what in God's name is that? But as like a drink supplement, it's caffeinated and I drink coffee, so it's normally my coffee supplement, but The thing is keto friendly and has 0 calories, but it's my like sweet drink substitute. So I've had a lot of people who drink a lot of soda actually replace their soda, I guess, addiction with their gamer sup stuff instead, because it's 0 calories and keto friendly. And it gives them that same sweet taste, that they have the addiction to, but now they're not drinking their calories. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, you drink 2 sodas a day, for example, cut that out, do the gamer subs, you're saving around almost 300 calories per day. And you need to have a 500 calorie per day deficit in order to lose 1 pound a week. And so you're kind of on your way there if you're at the right spot. And, it's just kind of this, it's kind of nice because as far as I'm concerned, there's really not been any problems I've had with the sponsor. I drink it a decent amount, but I don't drink it a ton because I tend to drink a lot of water, and that's just, I just drink a lot of water, but it's a nice in between. And I think that's, I think it's been kind of nice seeing people kind of quit soda in favor of gamer subs. Hell, even if you like the carbonation taste, you could always throw it in like a Pellegrino or some kind of sparkling water, or if you have a soda stream, makes it also works. I mean, it is my sponsor. If you want to check it out, use code Bricky, 10% off, bada bing, there you go. And it's, it gets me some money when you buy some, but I was more using this less as a pitch, more as a kind of idea of like, hey, this is one of the reasons why I like working with them, because so many people have quit soda from doing so. If there's any of your, going back to the cultural kind of meal thing, if there's any of you that have a particular dish that you think would be, I would ask that's a little bit simple for a beginner, because I might cook for myself, but I don't think I'm a great cook. I think I am perfectly average to below average, like a 4 or 5 out of 10. I am perfect, and not an IGN one, like a legitimate 4 to 5 out of 10. Perfectly average or slightly below. So something that maybe I can't horribly screw up would be great. But if there's anything that you would particularly be interested in, something that you think I should try cooking, starting from your culture, if you live, whether you're Eastern European, African, Latin America, hell, even Australians, which I was going to make a Vegemite joke about you all, but it turns out most of you hate Vegemite at the same time, so who knows? I've always wanted to visit Australia. They've always seemed like they're pretty cool people. They seem like not much phases them, which is nice. I like people who can take jokes, especially when it's at their expense, because I had to take it all my life. I'm freaking American. I'm not only American, I'm American and white. In 2021, that makes me the devil. So that's why I'm constantly making fun of other cultures, because I'm an easy target, man. I'm American. You got a million bad things you can say about me. So you know what? You damn British people out there, I'm coming for you back. I'm allowed to make jokes at your expense now if you're going to be doing it to me for the last 300 years. But on a side note, yeah, any kind of dish that you think would be something that's decent enough for a beginner that you think I should try out, please do let me know. If you can't let me know here in the comments, or if I might not be able to see it, let me know on my Twitch stream, because I've been doing that quite often lately, and I wouldn't mind a little bit more people coming by, saying hello, gifting some subs, wink wink, nudge nudge, September, 20% off, hee hee, and sharing their kind of culinary dishes with me. I wonder if there's actually anything else like rice-based too. Like if you have any other simple breakfast like the one I mentioned earlier, if you have an idea like, hey, Bricky, that's all good. The rice and the seasoning and all that stuff is all good. Try it with this meat instead. Or try it with this breakfast thing instead. This would be really fun. So I like to try that kind of stuff out. I like having these sort of options, and I like kind of broadening my horizons a little bit. Plus, you never become a good cook without practice, And also when you start not eyeballing it, I feel like cooking creates like a big U. Inexperienced cookers who think they're good at cooking will try to eyeball things a lot, eyeball measurements, because they think they're good cooks. That's me. I do that sometimes. And then when you become okay at cooking, you follow everything to the T. And then when you become good at cooking, you go eyeballing things again because you know what you're doing. For me, I don't know how many of you play Guilty Gear, but the character in there is Zato 1. It's the same way. Zato 1 is the best when you either are really good at button mashing or you're an intelligent 100 IQ big brain boy. And if you are just learning him, then you're bad at Zato. But you either face roll that controller or you just know everything. One or the other. It's very fun. I've been liking my Guilty Gear stuff. I don't know if I'd be playing it a whole lot just because fighting games aren't something that I grind a ton. But whenever someone or a buddy is like, hey, we should play some Guilty Gear, I'm like, hell yeah, Guilty Gear. Strive. Great. I wanted to answer a question I got from my Q&A section on my Discord. If you're a patron, I believe you're able to ask questions to a certain extent over here. And so I want to answer one of them. I'm not going to answer the one that says, Bricky, what's the best way to hide a body? So instead, I'm going to... Wait, what's the response to that? Bury it and plant an endangered plant above it so it's illegal to dig it up. Jesus Christ. It says, Dearest Brick, how do you overcome writer's block when script writing? So that's actually something that is really interesting. When it comes down to writer's block, I tend to get into the writer's high pretty easily. My issue is opening up the document. So I kind of put off opening up the document. It takes me a while to gain the want to actually open it and get started. The difference is that once I do get started, I don't stop. I basically just write for hours. But sometimes I do engage in a bit of writer's block when I do get my writing done. And what I normally do when that happens is one of three things. I either create bullet points if I didn't already have them for the things that I wanted to say for the rest of the video. Like, what topics have I not covered? For my scripts, that is. If you're writing a book, this might work, it might not, I don't know. What topics have I not covered? What do I want to cover? If it's not that, I like to go back and reread and re-edit the script I've already written, because then by the time I'm done reading / editing it all the way to the end, I'll probably kind of know what I want to say by then, because I'll have a feel for what's been going on in this video, or in the script, that is. And the last one is, music can help. Get the right track on. In fact, throw the track on that sticks with the mood, and it almost gets you hype. For example, right now I am writing a script for my Legends of Runeterra review, like re-review, that I am making because I am kind of getting, I got back into the game, and well, I was never really left the game, but I wanted to do a follow-up for my prior video. And I had a bit of a writer's block for a bit during it on how to review the new expansions without me just kind of listing them all. And so I went and threw on some background music, but I threw on some of the board music particularly. And that board music kind of got me hyped because it made me think about my Legends of Runeterra, made me think about how I play it, and made me think about how to write about it. Then after that, I would kind of get a little bit of a feel to go into it. So if you're, say, writing a book and there's a part in the book that is really epic and it's really exciting, this is really crazy, throw on some epic ass music, throw on some damn 3 Steps from Hell or something, get some Hans Zimmer in there, get something big, get the motion. Because sometimes I find that writing with emotion, writing almost like a speech, at least for my scripts, because it is a speech in a sense, or it's a video, kind of is a great way to convey what I'm trying to say. It is sloppy, which means I need to do a couple rewrites after I do it, but it lets the words flow with a lot of passion out onto the project. For instance, when I play Destiny 2, or I plan to review Destiny 2 pre-Witch Queen this current season after the Legends of Runeterra video, and when I do that, I absolutely plan on creating some kind of I absolutely plan on throwing on some music when I create my script to keep with the tone. If I'm trying to talk about something a little bit more specific or kind of low down, I might run something a little bit, a little nicer, smoother soundtrack. And when I go in to get something exciting like a raid, I'm throwing on the Riven of 1,000 Voices soundtrack. That wonderful, do, do. You know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. When you fall down and you see, fall down from the plates and you see Riven just on that big crystal, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't want to know what I'm talking about, that's unfortunate because it's freaking great. But yeah, you know, music, I never really understood the strength of what music can do for tone and the use of it and how it can adjust both your mind and your writing. So yeah, it's a lot there. There's a lot there that can help with it. And I think it's something that you can use to assist. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode of Fireside Bricky. To my patrons and Patreon members, you have been wonderful. Thank you so much for your support, especially those of you in the Brick VIP section. You know who you are. We tend to hang out a lot anyway, so it works out. It's all of your support right now, your views, comments, especially financially in terms of Twitch streams and stuff. That's like a big one. I really appreciate it. Of course, I mean no disrespect if you can't do that. You know, all donations are exactly that. Donations I should not expect, but I do appreciate wholeheartedly, especially during this time frame of my life. So again, thank you so much for that generosity. Do not feel bad if you can't. You have a life. You should live your life first. I will never, ever be happy if you somehow can't afford something because you gave me cash. I will send it back and I will call you a bitch. Well, no, maybe not a bitch, but I will call you bad with money. Okay. Thank you for watching this episode of Fireside Bricky, number 2. I will see you for number 3 next Monday. Oh, and send me those damn recipes.